Welcome back to the Shop Mini RC, everybody. I'm Ken, and today we're looking at the lineup of Torq servos, the MLS and their TCM servos. These are awesome, and there's something really unique about these. If you don't already know about these MLS, they stand for mountless system, mountless servo, and they're fantastic for the mini crawlers. So we're going to go through each one of these and just kind of show you them. We're not going to do an install or anything like that. We already have one of them installed, so I'll show you it installed, but we're not going to do a full install. But I do want to talk about the specs on these guys and what platforms these MLS servos are set up for, and then what kind of stuff you can use the regular TCM servos for. Super cool servos, very innovative in the MLS stuff. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so let's go ahead and walk through each one of these. We'll go from left to right, starting with the MLS lineup. This is the MLS 1022. The MLS 1022 is set up for a SCX 24, and basically it just goes straight into the axle and your rear links here, and you don't need the servo tray. One of the nice things about all these MLS servos, and the whole point of why they were designed, is that they do not have the ears or the tabs that stick out on the side. A lot of times on these small crawlers, the tabs will hit on the chassis rails. Even when you have something like a stock SCX 24, you can see even with a small servo, low torque, it's not a high torque servo like these guys, it will still, I don't know if you can see that, but that servo tab right there is hitting on my chassis rail under a certain articulation. See that? It's literally hitting on there. Okay, so the whole point is to eliminate those tabs and get a high torque servo, which is a little bit bigger than your normal servo that's on an SCX 24 at least, and get it without the tabs. And so these guys are able to do that. They also have a rear exit wire, all of them, which is nice because it prevents a side exit wire from rubbing on the chassis rails there. You can see it down in there. And sometimes, depending on the builds, those wires will rub on the chassis rails, get cut, you know, and then you have exposed wire and stuff like that. So not ideal. Having the rear exit wire is definitely a better idea. Here's all the stats on these guys. You can see they're the same for all of them. They are a 11.5 kilogram servo at 6 volts, a 12.8 kilogram servo at 7.4, and a 14.5 kilogram servo at 8.4. And those are some of the highest specs of any of these size servos. So you can check all the servos out there that exist from all the other brands and what they claim, and this is the highest torque of all of them. So pretty awesome, especially at the 8.4. And then you can see they're all pretty fast. The speed's at 60 degrees, 0.09 seconds, 0.07 seconds, and 0.06 seconds to move 60 degrees at those different voltages. There's also your weight, your size. It's a coreless servo. Obviously, the wire length, it's it's a JR style plug on these guys, and it's 170 millimeters, and then all the rest of the specs there. Okay, so this one is for the SCX 24. The 1022 is for the SCX 24 platform, and then we've got the 1023. The 1023 is for the FCX 24 and FCX 18 platform. And you can see it's set up a little bit different in how it mounts because that axle has a different mount to it. So this guy will drop right in there on an FCX 18 or FCX 24 standard front axle or rear axle if you're doing rear steer. The next one is the 1024. And the 1024 is for this guy here. This is and the 1024 is for this guy here. This is an FX 118. Look at all the clearance you have. Tons of clearance side to side. Very cool. And again, that rear exit wire. Some of these do come with aluminum horns, depending on when you buy it. They kind of did a special for the first round of orders. Some came with aluminum horns. Some of them now do not. I'm not sure. You have to check with the retailer and see what the retailer says. Some retailers have the aluminum horns with them. Some you have to buy them separate. So it just kind of depends. But again, this 1024 MLS is for the FX 118 platform as well as the CR18P. And I know that's really hot right now, especially with the Arctos, that 6x6, The Hobby Plus stuff is just killing it. They have the Evo Pro, and I think they have a new one coming soon, so I don't want to talk about it, but because I don't know when this video is going to be out, but maybe that new one's out already, and this will work on that new truck as well. So very cool. Again, mountless, no ears. That's kind of the whole point there. The last one here is the Redcat, and this is the one that really wants that kind of a servo. That earless mount is huge on the Redcat, just because the Redcat has such narrow chassis rails. Let me get this in here and I'll show you. It's going to be hard to see, but these chassis rails are so narrow. And so that earless or mountless servo tucks right up in there, and you're not actually hitting on anything on the chassis. So yeah, you got a lot more clearance to work with. And I definitely like that. And that rear exit wire is definitely helpful as well, because when you have a side exit wire on these guys, it 100% hits on that chassis all the time, especially if you like move your ESC around or have it so that this tray is removed and then you really drop down in there. You're definitely going to be hitting on that servo wire and those tabs. No question there, just because it's so narrow. That chassis rail is so narrow. Anyway, so yeah, the 1025 is for the Redcat, and that works on the Ascent 18. It works on the International Scout. It's the same thing. And then it even works on the monster truck. So we're going to be doing a video installing two of these on the MT18, the Redcat MT18 with rear steer. So definitely check that out. So make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. That way you know when that video goes up. We'll also be doing install videos probably on this FCX. We already did one on the SCX when it first came out, so you can check out that video. I'll put a link over here. And that's definitely worth checking out if you have an SCX 24. This servo is just too dang awesome. And now we'll move on to the TCM stuff. So this guy here is the TCM-1011. I didn't have the box out, but they also have a TCM-1022, which is basically the same as the MLS 1022. Well, all of them really, when it comes to specs. So it's basically a regular mounted servo, just like this guy, that you use in any sort of platform where we don't have an MLS servo mount setup, or something like a Traxxas TRX 4M, where it mounts like this, vertically, or even in your 10 scale stuff, if you need like a shift servo, stuff like that, these guys are fantastic. So this TCM-1011 is a little bit more budget friendly. It's got a little bit less torque and speed at the 6 volts and the 8.4 volts when compared to these guys and the 1022. But like I said, the 1022, just as good as these guys, one of the top torque servos out there. But if you're looking for something a little bit more budget friendly, almost half the price, I think. Definitely click the links down in the description below, where we've got links to all these guys. You can check out pricing, because pricing always changes and people have sales and specials and stuff like that. So just check out the link for the one you want. But yeah, we'll put links to these guys, and I think these guys are probably like 25 bucks. And these guys are around 45, I think. But anyway, check the links. Definitely worth looking to see what their prices are, because there's always specials and stuff, especially on DirectRC. So I'll link to DirectRC. I really like those guys. They have been fantastic. They're kind of a newer website, but they've actually been around for quite a while doing helicopter stuff. Have you ever heard of HeliDirect? DirectRC is the surface model division, basically anything that's not airplanes. So anyway, these guys definitely worth checking out for a budget. Or if you need a shift servo, or you just, again, TRX 4M, things of that nature, where they don't have the MLS setup. Very, very cool. And again, the 1022 is a beast. So all these guys are based on that 1022 internals. Yeah. All right. This last guy here is the TCM-1001 or 1001. And this guy is tiny. So this is a tiny servo, and you can use this as a rear steer servo if you're not looking for a ton of speed and torque, or any other just super small, anywhere you need a super small servo. Now, I don't think you can use this as a winch servo. It doesn't go 180 degrees, and I don't know if it's programmable. I don't think it is fully programmable. If it is, we'll do some more research, and when we do a video specifically on this guy, we'll let you know. But yeah, so this guy is meant for like the micro bees, these little guys. So it's going to replace the micro bee servo that goes right in here. It's going to be a little bit flatter, right? The micro bee servo is basically the same as the SCX 24 servo. And so this guy is going to be, it's hard to see, but it's going to be flatter, which gives you a much lower center of gravity. and it'll mount right in there and give you a lot more torque, a lot more speed. It's all metal gears. Also, I'm pretty sure there's some rebuild kits out there. If you ever chip a tooth in here, you can take this guy apart and rebuild it for another brand of servos. I believe the AFGRC is going to be very similar to this guy. So yeah, definitely cool. It comes with your normal Futaba style plug, so you can plug it in here. And yeah, should be a good direct replacement for the Micro B. You could also run these in the pan style mini Z cars, like the 128 scale, pans, mini Z pans, not the Kyoshos, because those have like a built-in servo. But all the other mini Zs that run this style of servo, it'll work. Especially if you need this type of plug, you can always swap the plug over to the smaller mini Z plug, which is the JST-ZH. It's a 1.5 millimeter spacing plug. It's tiny. But yeah, this guy should be a really good option for the Micro Bs for sure. If you want to check out the specs on this guy, let's look here. There we go. All the way up to 8.4 volts. So we're as fast as 0.052 seconds per 60 degrees at 8.4. And then our torque, 41 ounce-inches or 3 kilograms, which is really good for one of these small servos. And that's going to be all on par with the AGF RC servo. Like I said, I think these are going to be very similar, if not pretty close to the same. The only thing is this guy's got the Futaba style classic plug. So again, it swaps directly onto anything that uses a normal standard sized receiver versus the micro receivers. If you need the micro receiver, again, you'll have to change the plug. But yeah, this guy should be awesome for the Micro Bs. I'm excited to do that. And we'll have a full video putting this guy in the Micro B as well. They also have an aluminum mount as well as a 3D printed mount that works for this servo. Puts it right in there and you're good to go. That guy's right here. Micro B servo mount, CNC aluminum. And then they also have this tiny servo horn for it. So that's pretty cool. Speaking of horns, they also have a servo saver. I don't know if it's available yet. It's not an official packaging, you can see that, but it's the 25 tooth M2.5 servo saver, and that's going to be more for these guys here. If you need a servo saver for like a monster truck or something like that. We'll probably use that on the Redcat 4-wheel steer. Alrighty guys, well, I hope this gave you some good insight into what Torq offers as far as the MLS line as well as the TCM line. They're always coming out with new servos. If you hadn't heard of Torq before, Torq did high-end helicopter servos. So they've been in the servo game for quite a while. They're not a new servo. They're just new to surface and micro crawlers, mini crawlers, the small scale stuff essentially. So really cool stuff. I'm excited to get these guys into some of the rigs, the ones that I already have installed. I've got this guy here on the Redcat, that guy on the FX118. I've got actually a prototype version on the SCX24. So yeah, it's some cool stuff, and they've worked fantastic. So I'm excited to get these other ones on the other trucks and get this guy into the Micro B. It's going to be super cool. All right, guys, I really appreciate the watch. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell. It helps support the channel. Also, if you want to help support the channel even more, we have channel members. Check them out over here. All these people over here are amazing and help support the channel by being channel members. They get to see these videos early before anybody else and without ads. They also get priority replies to their comments, access in our Discord server to a special channel for them. They get extra entries into giveaways. Depending on the level of membership you sign up for, there's different perks and whatnot. So yeah, huge shout out to them. If you are into Discord or want a live chat community where you can go in there and just chat with people, it's not a post like a Facebook or an Instagram. You actually get in there and live chat. Discord is awesome. We've got a link to that down in the description below. Definitely join that community. Awesome community we got going on there. And yeah, I love to see everybody in there hanging out. Also, that's kind of where I am a lot. So if you got any questions, that's a good way to reach me as well. Especially, again, if you're a channel member, you have full access. So definitely check that out if you want support. We also have some shirts and swag and all that kind of stuff. I'll just kind of throw that up here real quick. You can check that out. There's a link in the description below for that as well. All right, guys, I appreciate you hanging out with us. I appreciate all the support. That subscribe is just a click for you, but it means the world to me. So if you're not subscribed, go ahead and do so. That would be awesome. And yeah, get out there and build something great. Build a car, build a course, build a community. All those things are what this hobby is really about. And then you can smash it, crash it, and bash it. Just don't break the expensive parts. Peace.